And our 6.4 item, our 9:10 a.m. A, presentation of proclamation designating the month of June 2023 as LGBTQIA plus Pride Month in Lake County. And B, direction to staff to display the Pride flag for the month of June at the Lake County Courthouse. And Supervisor Green is going to read the proclamation now. Thank you.
Get some people up here.
And come on up.
Come on up, unless you're shy.
Come on up, Lynn.
I don't know any shy people here today. Come on up. Cool.
You just put anybody on the spot.
I'm going to put everybody on the spot. Let's look at the cameras together, because what we're going to do here today is read a proclamation designating the month of June 2023 as LGBTQIA plus Pride Month in Lake County. Whereas the United States was founded on the principle of equal rights for all people. But the fulfillment of this promise has been long in coming for many Americans. Some of the most inspiring moments in our history have arisen from civil rights movements bringing one group after another from the margins to the mainstream of American society. And whereas in the movement toward equal rights for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, questioning, intersex, asexual, LGBTQIA+, and people of all other gender identities and sexual orientations, a historic turning point occurred on June 28, 1969, in New York City with the onset of the Stonewall riots. During these riots, LGBT+ citizens rose up and resisted police harassment that arose out of discriminatory criminal laws that have since been declared unconstitutional. In the 4 decades since, civil rights for LGBTQ+ people have grown substantially, and LGBT Pride celebrations have taken place around the country every June to commemorate the Stonewall riots. And whereas California has been a leader in advancing the civil rights of its LGBTQIA+ citizens, and while further progress is needed, it is important to recognize and celebrate the substantial gains that have been achieved. And whereas LGBTQIA+ Americans remain marginalized and under attack through legislation in states across our country and in Uganda, the Lake County Board of Supervisors stands firm against intolerance, discrimination, and injustice, and is deeply committed to fostering communities where all people can live free and authentic lives. And whereas LGBTQIA+ residents in Lake County represent our families, our friends, our neighbors, our teachers, our employees, and our community leaders. Across all religions, races, and communities, there are LGBTQ+ people helping our nation to become a more perfect union in reaching our ideals proclaimed in our Declaration of Independence, that all people are created equal and therefore deserve to be embraced and treated as equals. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the Board of Supervisors of the County of Lake does hereby proclaim June 2023 as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month in Lake County, and calls upon its residents to eliminate prejudice everywhere it exists and to celebrate the diversity of our communities. Passed and adopted this 6th day of June 2023, a beautiful day in the neighborhood, and signed by Jessica Paiska, Chair of the Board of Supervisors. And normally we present this. I'm going to present this to Harold.
Oh, Harold.
If anybody has a few words, this would be a good time. I have a microphone, and I'm not afraid to use it.
I'll let Harold.
Go. Hello, everyone. I am here today because I'm a survivor. I had thought and hoped that by the time I reached my 22nd birthday, the 90 years old, that things would have changed considerably. And here we are facing the sort of thing that I went through in the 50s and 40s. But this is a chance, a hope that the wonderful people of Lake County and my beautiful Board of Supervisors will help make a difference. I was imprisoned in the 60s for approaching a man in a bar, just putting my hand on his shoulders. It was a criminal act. 647A, I believe it was called. I had a knife almost at my throat at one time, and by a homophobic man. He was about to cut my throat. I told him, you might go ahead, but it's going to cause an awful lot of blood. And I guess he was fastidious enough that he didn't want blood, so he didn't go through, fortunately. But that was just a few illustrations of how we had to live and struggle through the 50s and 60s. And I thought I was helpless. I thought I was useless, and there was no hope for any of us to go on living. Suicide, of course, was an option, but I'm not indomitable. I'm all too mortal. As you get older, you begin to realize the old bones are creaking, and it's getting hard to get around. But still, my voice is loud, right? And I intend to use it as long as I possibly can. And I have a show on KPFZ. I hope you will call in and listen. 1 o'clock on Wednesday afternoons. My co-host says I'm being long-winded, so I will go on much longer. But I want to thank the Board of Supervisors so much for what they're doing today. And it gives me hope and inspires me to empower me just to last a little bit longer. Thank you so very, very much. And when that old flag flies above City Hall, if I'm not here next year, I'll be here in spirit, if not in body. And that flag is a symbol of all we've gone through and what we will go through until we reach full citizenship and be respected and have the dignity that all human beings should have. Thank you so very, very much.
Well, that's a hard act to follow, so I really can't say much more other than I love you, and thank you for all the work you've done, and thank the Board of Supervisors. And it is really amazing right now that in countries like Uganda and other places that people are being put to death because they are gay. And it blows my mind to think that that can even happen. And I can't even go there because I'll fall apart. But thank you so much for doing what you're doing, and we appreciate it in our community. Thanks so much.
So, I have a lot to say this year. So just seeing what's going on around this country has just been disheartening. And it's increased since I was here last year, listening to the same proclamation. I just want to tell you all out there that I was groomed. I was groomed by straight institutions that wanted me to be, that had a plan for me and told me what I needed to be to succeed in this life, who I needed to love. I'll tell you the story of me and my partner, Dustin. We met when we were teenagers, and we loved each other. And because of the influences in an unappreciative, hateful community, we didn't think that our lives would ever matter together. And so we lost 20 years because of hate, because of that societal pressure on LGBT people to be something they're not. The same pressure that causes our youth to kill themselves in disproportionate numbers every day. So that hate didn't stop us, because after 20 years, we got back together, and we're here in this community calling it home, where it's more accepting than the one we were in before. And hate cannot stop our love. I have the honor to be one of only two elected public officials that were openly LGBT in this county. And I thought we were coming so far, but even in that role, I was pointed out and called a pedophile and made to be some sort of deviant by certain aspects in the community, and they're still here. Although you as our leaders are here accepting and welcoming LGBT members, there's a segment, and we've seen it just recently, out there that want to continue to foster that hate and call us pedophiles and groomers. That same hate that called our indigenous folks savages. It's nothing more than a threat. It's disgusting, and it's still happening. But we're not going anywhere. LGBT people in Lake County have a long history. We are going to talk about it on our radio show tomorrow. Shameless plug. And even our museum has a great feature online that talks about the history, the long history of LGBT people in Lake County. So I encourage you all to see that and learn from that. But I do want to thank this board. You have been the most amazing board to the LGBT community. And I appreciate that you still, no matter what the societal influences are, no matter what the hateful rhetoric is, you're still standing up for us. And thank you all today for that. And thank you to the Lake County community and allies that support us. So that's all I have to say.
I'm going to see if there's anyone in the chambers or the Zoom room. Don't go anywhere. We haven't taken a picture yet. We're not done. But I'm opening it up for public input right now. If there's anyone in the chambers or in the Zoom room that would like to speak. I'm not seeing any hands up. Oh, we do have one hand up. Richard Durham. You can unmute and state your name and have 3 minutes.
My name is Richard Durham, and first employer was gay, and that was back in the 60s, before gay was gay. He taught me how to work, ethics, just everything, and came up to me 2 years after we were working together. And to this day, the lessons he's taught me, the love of life, seriousness, respect. I became a good father, good businessman, good employer, all because of the tutelage of a person who I will never forget. Sorry about being emotional. He passed away. When I got to Lake County, I noticed that there was very many gay women. And I asked one, how come there's so many gay women? I came from Laguna Beach, where it was all gay men. And she says, because in Lake County, if you're willing to work, people don't care about your sexuality. And I was very proud at that moment about Lake County. And I still am today. So God bless you all. And as a straight male, I want to say I've been influenced highly by the LGBT community and proud of it. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, Richard. Do we have anyone else in the Zoom room? Okay, I'm going to close public comment, bring it back to the board. I so appreciate you three being here. Part B is that we're going to fly our flag as soon as we're able. We're having roof construction, so there's no flag up right now. But our goal is to have it up later on in the month as soon as we possibly can. It's more important this year than ever. It was a different environment when we were here last year. And it's just a reminder for us to continue to stand steadfast with all of our brothers and sisters across every spectrum. And if there's anything else for the
Him first, and then I'll go. I have something to read.
Okay, Supervisor Sabatier?
I'll keep it brief because I'm low on sugar and I tend to get loopy when I'm low on sugar. You don't have to be LGBT to love your LGBT neighbor. And I think it's as simple as that. and I see a lot of division within our neighborhoods, within neighbors. It shouldn't matter what your political ideology, what your skin color, or what your sexual orientation is. When we have a fire, we all come together and we don't care. If we can carry that mantra around when there's not a fire, then I think we can be better. And I hope that's as simple as it gets.
Supervisor Crandall?
Yes, I have a statement for the honoring and all voices, but first I wanted to share experiences through the military. I don't know if I shared this before, but during the time I served, there was a policy called Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And I was in a unit with at least 2 soldiers in my initial Fort Lewis experience. One was actually let go from the military and ETS'd because he told that he was two-spirited. I served closely with this soldier, and I would basically be the only one that would ride with him in a truck and whatnot. And people ask me why. Because of my experience with Native American, we believe that two-spirited is the name, and so our belief is that someone who is LGBTQIA plus embodies both spirits, feminine and masculine. So there's no necessarily prejudice against this or any negative thought. So I mentioned that because, it took for the other soldiers that I served with, not only in artillery, but also in aviation. I'm in connection with everybody that I served with, and they now are, on social media, and, they're married or whatever the case may be now, but it took for them to actually leave the military before they had to come out, if that makes sense. And so, just wanted to share that. I felt like it was necessary for this proclamation. And I'm going to read about the announcement for Honoring All Voices event. And so, as some will be aware, the Countywide Community Visioning Forum Planning Committee has recently been hosting a series of public events called Honoring All Voices, which invite participants to explore respect, fairness, and inclusion in Lake County. These events seek to promote understanding of the experiences and perspectives of county residents and what barriers are keeping people from getting their needs met in Lake County. I've been honored to work with government partners from the cities of Clear Lake and Lakeport and Lake County sovereign tribal nations and members of the broader community on the Planning Committee. The final public forum of these series will be held Monday, June 26th from 6 to 8:30 in the City Council chambers of Clear Lake City Hall. I sincerely hope Lake County LGBTQIA plus voices will be heard and represented in this critical community conversation. Your experiences, your well-being, and your access to opportunities needed to thrive matter. As we recognize and celebrate Pride Month today, I am cognizant there is much more work left to be done. Again, the third Honoring All Voices event is Monday, June 26th from 6 to 8:30 at the Clear Lake City Chambers. Registration for in-person and Zoom participation and printable event flyers can be accessed from the Honoring All Voices news item linked at lakecountyca.gov. Flyers are also available here in the board chambers today, and all are welcome. Please consider attending.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Anyone else?
Yeah. I just want to thank you for the words today, and very powerful. But yeah, oppression, discrimination, all of those things come along with some journeys in life. But as you said, you'll continue the fight, and we're here, man. Ain't nothing anybody can do about it. Love is nothing to be ashamed of. So thank you very much for the words. Yeah, it is proud that that flag will fly above this courthouse, just like the other things that we honor. Thank you very much. I love you guys. Thank you.
Supervisor Green?
It's really hard to add anything. So thank you to those people who did come out today and to all those who did not and could not. It's very sobering to hear what's going on in Uganda, and even more sobering to know that there's American influences, American voices, helping to drive that dissent halfway across the world. we're supposed to be a beacon of tolerance and understanding. We're not supposed to be an exporter of hate and division and intolerance. And what's happening in Uganda kind of serves as an example of when we stray as a nation from our ideals, and we allow our mistaken concepts of free speech to give us certain people in our society some false sense that they have free license to spew intolerance. And I want to be very clear, some of this intolerance definitely has some religious overtones to it. In Uganda, both Christian and Muslims kind of share some sense of intolerance and bigotry. Religious intolerance looms large in the history of American LGBTQ people. And it's hard to reconcile the pride that we're going to feel when we fly that flag and knowing what to say when some offhanded comment from a parent or a school kid or what have you tends to reinforce the prejudices that we've been fighting for 50 plus years now. And it kind of makes you wonder, but even as you wonder, where we're headed as a nation and as a global community in this, we understand that the same things that happened in Stonewall have to happen today. People have to stand up and fight. People have to be loud and vocal and make very clear whether they're facing it here in Lake County or half a globe away in Uganda. No, absolutely no. Intolerance against LGBTQIA plus people is a non-starter. So whether you hear it here in just kind of a casual comment, or whether you hear it in a more programmatic way being foisted by some of these organizations, please, please, please stand up for your LGBT friends and neighbors and family members. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Green. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back at 9:45.